Joining me is Nationals frontbencher and former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce. Barnaby Joyce, always great to talk to you. Look, it's such a contrast. I'm just so struck by it. You've got the Liberals in Victoria who stood for nothing, got flogged. 2 days later, the Nationals in Canberra say no to the Voice, Labor's planned Aboriginal-only parliament. Have the Nationals figured it is time to stand for something again?
Well, I believe the Nationals always have stood for a lot, and that's why at the last federal election we held every seat and picked up an extra senator. And, you know, it's bragging, but I'm always happy with the fact that whilst I was the deputy or the leader, we never went to one election where we didn't get more seats. But, yeah, you've got to actually be heard. You've got to actually, you can't have a silhouette. You actually got to have the real person. And if you look in politics, in the history of our nation's politics, whether it's Menzies or whether it's whether it's Curtin, or on a state level whether it's Bjorky, Peterson or Kennett or McGowan, to be fair and give every party a run, the reason they're successful is because they're clearly identified as having a political reason and a philosophical reason to be there. Now, I believe that the coalition and the Liberal Party level at a federal level is certainly miles ahead of the unfortunate circumstances of what happened with the Liberals in Victoria, and I'm sure the Liberals in Victoria at a state level will be doing a very sort of forensic attention to what was the message that was lost with the people, noting that most of those votes went to alternate right-wing parties. That's the problem. They didn't go to the Labor Party, they went to alternate right-wing parties.
Well, to this Voice, this Aboriginal-only advisory parliament, isn't the argument not simply that it won't do practical good, which both David Littleproud, your leader, and Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price were saying today? It's not just a question that it won't do practical good. It will actually do real harm by dividing us by race, won't it?
Yes. I thought the great thing about our nation in the 1967 referendum is we removed that there'll be differences in Australians by reason of their DNA. And what this does is it puts it back in again. And of course, if you say one group of people by reason of only their race have a benefit, that obviously means that another group of people by their DNA are deficient of all the representation that another person in the nation can have. And so you create a divide. And we don't want to divide this nation. And I think what Jacinta said was so powerful. Like, don't think that because, I'm Indigenous, in the words of Jacinta, that therefore I'm incapable and don't have agency and can't do it for myself. I stand on my own 2 feet. And that's so healthy and correct. And that's, I think, the sort of, we have a job to make sure we look after the health, the welfare, the security of people throughout our nation. And because it's so pronounced in some Indigenous communities, it's especially important that we do it there. But if that was the case in western suburbs of Sydney and certain communities, we should do it there. Or, to be quite frank, if it was the case in Bellevue Hill, we should do it there. But we don't do it by saying, now we're going to pass a piece of legislation that's going to determine your listeners' rights by their DNA. That's I feel incredibly uncomfortable about that.
Oh, look, it's just disgusting. And it's as if our race is the most important thing about us, and that we people of different races all think alike. And if you start stressing one race's rights, do you think it's going to stop there? Other people are going to be demanding their rights per their race, and it's going to just get so ugly.